Hey everyone, and welcome back to Bleach Brave Souls! Alright guys, so thanks to the people at BRAVESOULS.FYI, we now have the information on the new Valentine's Day characters! And to be honest, they look pretty decent, guys. The statistics and abilities look good. You can look at this information on BRAVESOULS.FYI, or I will put it on the screen as well. But the focus of this video is more to give you my opinion on how these characters turned out, and maybe to give you some advice on whether or not they're worth summoning for. So let's get right into it, guys. I find that people usually consider two factors when deciding on if they're going to summon on a gacha or not. So the first factor is how much do they like these characters. That's always very important, guys, because you have to like the character in order to spend orbs to get the character. Number two is how powerful are the characters. And if you're kind of a more hardcore player, this will be more important to you. But for the average player or the casual player, it's usually a combination of both. Like, they have to like the character, and they want the character to be reasonably strong. It's not necessary that they be OP, but they have to be, usable and effective. Me personally, I kind of fall on the side where I prefer the characters that are my favorites, and I don't really care about their statistics and abilities. I'm going to go for the characters I like. So, they might release a character that's really weak, but if it's one of my favorites, I don't care. I'm going to go all in with all my orbs. So that being said, guys, I'm going to evaluate these characters, starting with the one I want the most and going down to the one I want the least. First off, we have Valentine's Day Lele, and look at that image, guys. She looks great. She looks sexy. I love the outfit. I love that she shows a little bit of leg. I'm into her. She looks awesome. Now, you can see the stats for yourself here. If you want to analyze them more deeply, I'm going to pull a time berry and tell you to pause the screen right here. But what I specifically want to point out here is that she has a team buff, guys. And a team buff is very valuable in a co-op situation. It increases your attack, defense, and focus by 33%. So it's pretty much like wearing a third chappy, a third 5-star chappy, in my opinion, except it doesn't affect spiritual pressure or stamina. Lele is also an orange mind character, so she's going to be doing stock damage or better against pretty much every attribute. So she really doesn't have a specific weakness. Even against heart or purple characters, she's still going to be doing extra damage, even though she's going to be taking extra damage. So that is definitely a plus. The 20% normal attack soul trait is also an excellent thing to have, and other than that, the statistics look very good. The 6-star upgrades look very strong, and the statistical numbers, they look very balanced. So she might be a candidate for a hybrid character, but you could go either way. She does have a normal attack range increase, and she has some strong attack upgrades as well. But off the rip, I would say this character is built for hybrid and as support because of the team buff. And also because she's an orange character with a buff, you can use her in all scenarios, like I said before. So that is Valentine's Day Lele. Pause if you want to further examine the statistics, but I'm going to continue here, and we're going to move on to Valentine's Day Rukia, my second favorite character in this gacha. If we look at the artwork, she looks amazing. Rukia has always been more cute than sexy, so the Valentine's Day outfit they picked for her kind of fits her personality. So if we look at the upgrades she gets, Rukia also gets a team buff, which is fantastic, guys, fantastic. She's a blue character. She also has a 20% stamina recovery soul trait, which is a good co-op or raid attribute to have. You throw a Hojikuzi on there, and she'll be healing for quite a bit, 40% through each room. Furthermore, she does have paralysis on her special attack with Debilitator, so it's going to paralyze the enemies for a long time. It's a good thing to have for boss rooms and things like that. So I would classify her as a secondary boss killer. The only drawbacks on Rukia are the very low attack. If you can see there, the attack is only 490, guys. Now this is pretty low, but it might be compensated for a little bit by the fact that she has a 30% bruiser. So, we'll have to see how that plays out in the actual game. But for now, the attack looks pretty low. I would classify this character as a pure support character for her paralysis special and her team buff. But she might do decent damage, acceptable damage if you factor in the 30% bruiser. Okay, so that is my opinion on Valentine's Day Rukia. Let's move on to the third character, Valentine's Day Momo. Now, Valentine's Day Momo looks to be pretty good as well, guys. The thing about Valentine's Day Momo you need to know is that she has a team heal. Yay! I'm a big fan of characters that have team heals. They're very useful for co-op situations, and even in single-player scenarios, a healer is always very useful. She has a 20% strong attack soul trait, which is very good. And guys, On top of that, she is a ranged damage dealer. So this is great if you like to play support characters. Characters that are healers and ranged at the same time are always very good to have. She'll be able to heal your party and stay out of danger most of the time, while chipping in a little bit of damage as well. If we look at the upgrades, she also has a plus 30% normal attack damage increase. It's the same as Rukia, except that Momo is ranged, which I think gives her advantage. Furthermore, she has a 512 attack, which is also higher than Rukia. So, you know, to be honest, I don't know what they were thinking when they made Rukia and when they gave her a 490 attack. Momo is by far superior in my opinion. She's got the better attack, she's a ranged character, she's got a team heal, and overall she just looks to be better than Rukia. You know, Rukia does have the team buff, which in certain scenarios might be more useful if you already have a healer in the party, and she does have paralysis on her special attack. So I mean, that might be enough to make Rukia worthwhile, but in my opinion, you're going to want to go with Momo all the way. That being said, I do like Rukia better as a character. That's just my bias. That has nothing to do with statistics or abilities. She's just one of my favorites, so I'm going to still say I want Rukia more. Alright guys, so finally let's move on to last but not least, Valentine's Day Yachiru. And Yachiru is going to be a red power character. She's going to have the 11% dodge, which is very good. And she's going to be ranged. So ranged characters with dodge are excellent, guys. They're excellent in PvP. Not so much in PvE, I would say, in my opinion. Plus 11% dodge. Dodge in general, I don't find very useful in PvE. But she does also have a self-heal, which is not that great, guys. So, I mean, she's not a very co-op friendly character. She doesn't have that much to contribute to the team in terms of buffs or healing. She can heal herself, so if you're a player who likes to have that security of having a self-heal available to yourself, this character will be good for you. I can think of one player that likes the self-heal, Tom Murray, but it's better to have a team healer. This character will be very good for solo raids or any kind of solo content. Now, the upside of the self-heal is that it is much stronger than the team heal. It gets a 30% increase on top of what it already is. So I assume that the base heal is about 10 or 20%, and then you add 30% on top of that. You're going to be healing for huge chunks of damage on yourself every time you cast that heal. So like I said, it's not a team heal, but it's a self-heal that's probably twice as strong as the team heal. She also does have Frenzy, which will make her strong attacks very good. Just remember, guys, that she only has 2 strong attacks now because one of her strong attacks is a heal. So, I mean, Frenzy is kind of wasted a little bit. She doesn't have another offensive move to make use of that Frenzy, but it's still a very good upgrade. I'm going to say that this character is also a hybrid. She does have kind of a lower attack number, but her bruiser is plus 40% damage, guys. So even though she only has 503 attack, she gets plus 40% normal attack on top of that, in addition to having Frenzy. So I don't think you're going to want to, I mean, you could go Chappies and she'll be very effective, but then you lose out on the Frenzy. So maybe you'd want to build her as a hybrid, or you can just say screw the Frenzy and go all normal attack. She only does have 2 strong attack offensive abilities, so that wouldn't be a bad way to go either. But overall, there's some options with Yachiru, and she is a ranged character with dodge, so that is always relevant, like I said before. And there's a lot of options with how to build her and how to play her, so she's great. I like what they've done with her. This is a character that you can really tailor to fit your playstyle. Alright guys, so that pretty much covers all the Valentine's Day characters. They look pretty fun, they look pretty good. So the big question is, should you summon on this gacha? Well, let's go back to what I said earlier. First, you gotta consider, how much do I like these characters as characters? You know, are you fans of Yachiru? Are you a fan of Rukia? Are you a fan of Lele? Take that into consideration first. Then I would recommend you look at the statistics. Overall, the statistics, they're not that great, guys. They're not top tier at all, but they are very respectable. If you're more of a hardcore player and you just want the best characters, the most OP characters, the ones that are going to crush raids, crush PvP, you might want to consider passing on this gacha and waiting for the double chance at the end of the month, which has Kenpachi, Ikaku, and Toshiro. That gacha will have the strongest characters available this month. But that being said, if you're more of a collector or you just play this game for fun and to play your favorite characters, definitely take a chance on the Valentine's Day gacha. These characters only come out once a year, and we don't even know if they'll come out next Valentine's Day. So there's no guarantees that you'll see these characters again, and this might be your only chance to get them. So go ahead and go in on this gacha if you like these characters, but don't go in on this gacha if you're into the characters for their statistics and abilities. The end of the month gacha will have a Kenpachi and an Ikaku that both have buffs as well. So, I mean, these characters have buffs, but so do the OP characters coming at the end of the month. So you might want to wait for those characters if you're looking for a buffer. The Momo is a good healer. She's a ranged healer, so if you want a healer, you can go in on her. But keep in mind, guys, that Retsu is also out there as a ranged healer. There's also Parasol now that is a ranged healer, and that character has recharge time as well. So I would say that Momo isn't one of the stronger healers, but if you like Momo, go ahead and go for her. She's still gonna do the job. Alright guys, so that's my opinion on these characters. They're not for the hardcore elitist players, but they will appeal to players who are collectors and don't really care so much about statistics. Me personally, I'm going to do a few draws on this if I have orbs, maybe a couple of multis. I really do want the Neliel or the Rukia, because those are my two favorite characters in this gacha. And Neliel, I'm not going to lie, she looks sexy AF. So that being said, thanks for watching everyone. Go check out the FYI if you want to look at more detailed information on any character in the game, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.